Thank you for joining us tonight for Let's Talk About It, the multicultural experience at Providence College. My name is Alexander Torres Morales, and I am an admission counselor here at Providence College. Here at PC, we acknowledge our position as a predominantly white institution, or PWI. Of course, this isn't a problem, but it can be a factor to consider when choosing a college. Providence College strives to create an inclusive, welcoming environment for all students, regardless of background. But we also know that our experiences can look a little different from the average PC student. The purpose of this webinar is to give you all an insight into the multicultural experience here. We have put together a panel composed of some of PC's finest. Listen to our panelists' stories, insights, and advice, as they were in your shoes not too long ago and now find themselves thriving in our environment. There will be a recording of tonight's webinar available on the Providence College YouTube channel for the benefit of future applicants. Tonight, we are joined by some fantastic resources, and I will go through them one by one and allow them to introduce themselves. So, Amara.
Hi, I'm Amara Pina. I'm a freshman, and I currently live in Lincoln, Rhode Island.
Thank you. Mariama.
Hi, I'm Mariama Bandabela. I currently live in Providence, Rhode Island, even though I'm from California. I'm class of 2026, and I'm a poli-sci major with a theater minor.
John.
Hi, I'm John Torres. I'm a freshman. I'm actually a double major in quantitative economics and finance, and I'm from New Jersey.
Rosalind.
Hello, my name is Rosalind Tavares. I am a sophomore, class of 2026. I am from Providence, Rhode Island, and I am a finance major with a Spanish minor.
Michael.
Hi, my name is Michael Martinez. I am from the class of 2025. I am a bio major and I am from San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Thank you all. Not only do we have some amazing students on the panel, but we are also joined by our Associate Director for the Center of Orientation, Transitions, and Leadership, Emily Gonzalez, who will be sharing with you all the work they do for our first generation and multicultural students. Now, without further ado, let's talk about it. Emily, take it away.
Thanks, Alex. All right. ¿Qué tal todos? Hi, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a second. Right, can everybody see that?
Yes.
Awesome. So first off, I just want to start by congratulating everyone. I can imagine it's been a busy year applying to different schools, trying to make your decision in the next week or so if you haven't already. And you put a lot of work in. So I hope that this is now time to celebrate and look forward to the months ahead. So I definitely want to congratulate you all. As Alex said, I do serve as their associate director for our Center for Orientation. I wear a couple different hats because of that. So I just wanted to share a little bit about me to get to know me a little bit. So I also represent our multicultural and first-gen community. I'm a proud first-gen college grad. So I definitely understand the struggles and the excitement about college and planning your next steps. My hometown is I'm from the Bronx, New York, and I'm a proud Latina. So shout out to Puerto Rico. My nickname on campus is MGO. So you may, if you do come to PC, hear me called that instead of Emily. Feel free to do as you wish. And about me professionally, my role includes a few things, but mainly it's really to be a resource, hopefully not the source, but a resource for you on campus to connect you with others, to support you in your goals, and to make sure that your time both coming into PC and leaving, you feel prepared and supported. I hope to be an advocate and I hope to be a cheerleader. So invite me to your events that you will future plan. Some of our students on the panel, like for instance, just did a fashion show that was amazing. There's so many events. And so I love to go and support and see students in a different lens. My role within our center, apart from orientation, is to advise Horizons and PC First, which I'll get into more briefly in this short presentation, as well as coordinate our first-gen awareness programming known as the PC1G initiative. So I'll get into that one first. Actually, I'll talk about orientation real quick. So once you hopefully decide to come to PC, you will hear from the orientation department after admissions. So you'll deposit and then maybe a week or two later, you'll hear from us about coming to our orientation for the summer. So our center overall helps with orientation, which all students go through, but it's also dedicated to helping you in different ways, from our first gen initiative programming to our leadership programs that we have for sophomore students and juniors. And then I also run programming for students as they're preparing to leave PC, through different topics like moving to a new city, financial literacy, minding your money. So we have different events apart from orientation to support students throughout their whole time at PC. Our orientation is broken down into two sessions. Our summer one, which is what you'll hear about first once you deposit, called First Day in Friartown. And this one is based on your major of choice when you apply to PC. If you choose to change that major before you come to PC, you want to do so before you register for your first day in Friartown, because it is very much based on your major, and that's the day that you actually pre-register for your classes. There is family programming that's optional that you're welcome to join, but it's just one day where you'll meet orientation leaders, really get to know some of your peers, and then also get to know more about your major and your program, maybe even meet a couple professors in the program. And then fall, you don't have to register for. This is for everyone, whether you move in or whether you live on campus. This is a multi-day session where you bond with classmates. You get to know two orientation leaders. These are upperclassmen that help support you. Any questions you have on your first days, they're going to be there to support you. They're going to be there to connect you to resources and to other students that you may be able to build lifelong friendships with. So that's a little bit about orientation. And then PC1G is really our hub for first gen support. We start off with our webpage, which is under development, so you won't see it now, but it will consist of frequently asked questions for first gen students that you can look into, a little bit more about our faculty and staff partners. So these are folks who have trained to learn more about being the first gen in their family, among students. Some of them are first gen, and it's also space for them to advocate better in the classroom and support first gen students more on campus. If you students or even family want to connect with any of the partners, you're welcome to connect with all of them. We have so many partners across campus, different departments, and so they're a great resource and support and cheerleaders for students too. We also throw different events, including our PC1G First Gen Day, which is in November. We host a table across different offices to celebrate with snacks and goodies, and also lots of pictures. We want to display and show pride in our first gen community, which is right now about 14% of our PC population. We also host a senior celebration for our students who are graduating and their families. That's a really fun event. You see that on the bottom corner on the right. And it's just a really fun event to celebrate all of the successes and hard work that students have put in. So those are some of our key programs, but really it's an initiative based on building awareness and pride in the identity. And just to recap, if you're not sure if you're first gen, at PC, we define that as students whose parents did not attend a four-year college degree, did not finish a four-year college degree or bachelor's. So in case you're wondering, you would find out through that definition, but you also get emails from me if you do decide to come to PC, letting you know about our resources again and how to get involved. Next up, we got our PC First student group. This is first gen by first gen. I serve as the advisor. I attend meetings, which are once a month. We also started off with a first gen student retreat off campus, which was a lot of fun, getting to do campus activities and camp life activities with each other. And our monthly events are always with food. They're always with some sort of craft. They're always talking about resources or even just debriefing, de-stressing for the semester, things that are going on. We also host off-campus events to get to know Providence a little bit better, and all of that is free to students who join. That's our group at the top with our new swag this year. We also host a welcome mixer at the beginning of the year, just to get to know more first-gen students, let them know that we're here and we're here to support. So that's PC First. This group right now, currently, meetings range from about 14 anywhere to like 30 students. So it really depends, and you're welcome to come anytime. We will be at the involvement fair, and we'll also host an info session and orientation so that you can get to know more and sign up and make sure you're a part of it. Our other group, which some of our panelists are part of, is Horizons, and this is specific to the multicultural experience. So I wanted to mention it because it's perfect for today's session. This is also a student-led group with myself as an advisor, and it supports students particularly incoming students. They get matched with a mentor who will support them throughout the year. We also host monthly socials on Sundays with different events. Some of them are crafts, some of them are competitions with our group because we're a pretty large group. So we break up into cohorts to play games and compete against each other. We also start off with a traditional overnight retreat, which you'll see is our big picture of everyone below. This year was our biggest group of 92 students. So definitely something to look into if you're interested in starting to build your community. This one you do apply into in order to help us match students to better mentors to support them. Maybe that's based on major for you. Maybe that's based on gender, hometown. We try our best based on the mentors that we have. And it's a lot of fun. So I hope you would consider that as part of your system. Just to end, I have some tips. I'm going to be here to answer questions, but some of my tips as you're planning your next steps is to really seek those resources early on. Say yes to new opportunities, try new things. Maybe that's dance. Maybe that's one of our student groups I just mentioned. We definitely have other programming. So this is only specific to my office. So we are with our students and myself, we can also share other resources. But those are some of our big ones on campus to consider. And I feel like one of the quickest ways, and maybe students can attest to that too, to feel like you belong somewhere is to get involved. So definitely try to consider like what's one way you want to maybe be different or try something to be involved on campus next year, wherever you end up, hopefully here. Don't overload yourself too, and also build your support system, what I call your board of directors. So people that are going to be there, watch you grow your whole time at PC and college, and be able to support you along the way and see that growth and celebrate you. And I hope to be one of those people. So thanks so much, Alex, for the time. I'll stick around for questions, and I welcome you out to PC, hopefully.
Emily, thank you so much for all that amazing information you just shared with us all. So yeah, I certainly hope that it proved useful to you all. I certainly learned a few things about the resources we have on campus. So thank you so much for sharing. So now we will hear from our students, starting with my friend Michael.
So hi, so I'm Michael Martinez. Like I said, I'm a junior and a bio major, and I'm from San Juan, Puerto Rico. So for me, coming to PC was like a big leap since before this I had never left the island before, but it was like something I wanted to do because I wanted to learn how it was to live like outside of home and all that. So after that, it was like super big because I got to see like in all the conferences, like I got to saw my parents like hug me and all and the crying and all that, like the waterworks. Of course, it's like it's a big thing because you're moving. In my case, I was moving to what was basically a completely different country, and it was scary. Once I got to PC, it was like a bit hard. There was a point that I was even scared of speaking Spanish. That didn't last long, of course, because I did find a community. I was part of a group called Transitions, and basically in that group, it was like a pre-orientation. So it's like we get to spend time with other transition students, and we accompany them and all that. And through that, I was able to find some people that are like my friends to this day. And one semester, the semester started, it wasn't that much different. I was able to find a club, Olas, which is like the school club for Latin American students. And there I found my best friends. Like I cannot be grateful enough for all the people I met there. So that would leave me with my number one advice to you all. It is to, even if you are a shy person, to find a club that makes you a part of that community. So for me, since I'm from Puerto Rico, that would be OLAS, the Latin American club. But if it applies to you, then I would highly advise you to join a club like that. Thank you.
Michael, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us all. So now I want to hear from Amara.
Hi guys. So I'll say my name again, Amara. And I also forgot to mention earlier, I'm a biology major. I attended a predominantly white high school. So I was kind of had the same expectations coming into PC as I did when I was in high school. Kind of knew that I would be like a big fish, I mean, a little fish in the big sea. But like Michael was just saying, I was a part of the transitions pre-orientation program, which I think really, really helped me branch out a lot and meet some of the people that I'm friends with to this day. Like he said, you know, it helped me create special bonds and also talk to people the same age as me about things that I thought I was going through alone. You know, I felt like I was the only one feeling alone and left out and didn't feel like I really belonged. But transitions really helped me open my eyes and see that I wasn't, and that there's so many other people my age and coming from the same background or even different backgrounds going through the same thing, feeling the same things. And on top of transitions, like after the school year had started, as Emgo mentioned, I'm a part of Horizons. And I think Horizons is honestly a really great way to continue those relationships and strengthen them even more, because transitions kind of sets those up for you as it's a pre-orientation program, but Horizons is there to kind of maintain throughout the year. As she said, you know, we have monthly socials where we, you know, gather together, we have food, activities, things that like bring us together. And I think that Horizons has honestly helped me a lot, maintaining like my friendships and all those resources on campus. So I think that, like Michael said, finding your group, your people that you feel like you belong with is really important. And even if it's not something like that, you can find so many different other clubs on campus where you can really feel like you belong.
Mara, thank you so much. Now we will move on to Mariama.
Hi, I'm Mariama. As I said before, I'm a political science major and a theater minor. I had a slightly different experience with PC. I actually never went to a PWI. Most of my schools were all like mainly Hispanic children and like, you know, Black people, people that look like me. So I never, you know, really knew, or I never really interacted with people who, you know, were white. Now, when I came to PC, like, of course it was daunting at first because you never really know what to expect, especially like in such a different environment. But PC kind of welcomed me with open arms. I did transitions, but I started off with FFP, which was the Friar Foundation program, which was like a summer program where we took classes with other multicultural students for at multicultural and first gen students for like, you know, the summer. And then we, you know, we would move into like a dorm and we'd be on campus. And after that, I did transitions and I also do Horizons. So I just kind of put myself in, you know, these programs that were offered to me to get me to meet more multicultural students and students who were similar to me. Now, because I am a theater minor, I wanted to do theater in Providence College, so I still do theater in Providence College, and I guess that's kind of one thing that I wanted to talk about in particular, because, you know, certain clubs and certain interests that you may not have many people of color at first, but it's always good to put yourself out there, even with theater, even though like I'm one of very, very few in the department, I still feel welcomed in the spaces that I'm in because PC does have like an open environment and people are generally just kind and welcoming and accepting of other people. So whatever niche interests you have, please don't be afraid to like share that with the PC community. They're very accepting. Thank you.
No, thank you. Rosaline, take it away.
Yeah, just first off, if the light shuts off, I'm in a room where like it's like sensitive, so I'm sorry if it shuts up. Just letting you guys know beforehand. But at least from my experience, it's definitely quite unique and different, I would say. So I am from Providence and quite similar to Mariama, I come from a very diverse background. I was born from the Dominican Republic and then I came here. So my whole life basically has been like just that very diverse. So coming into PC was definitely like a transition for me. Not only that I am a first generation student. I also commute. I don't live on campus, so that's another difference for me. And this just like a lot of things where sometimes you might just feel like you're alone and you might feel like, oh, like it's just not the same. You don't have the same experience as others. However, I made sure that although I'm a commuter, although I am a minority, although I'm like not as the majority, of course, like, I try to put myself out there. So I did transitions. And transitions again, like, was such a great program, as everybody has said. Like, I've met my people, honestly, like ever since I did transitions, I met such great people. You learn about so many resources on campus, which is honestly just so great. And besides that, it's just a week where I was able to just get to know more about the campus, because obviously it's like a transition going straight from high school to college. So just get to learn a lot. I also did Horizons, and I had a mentor, and she just helped me out throughout the whole process. Although we didn't have the same major specifically, she was just such a great asset throughout my whole freshman year, and that was just a great thing for me. And besides that, I try to be involved as much as I can on campus. So I am in a dance group called Motherland Dance Group, and it was definitely something different for me, because although I danced my whole life, I've done like more like traditional Dominican dancing, and it's like motherland is like Afrobeat, so I try to put myself out there, and I did, and it's honestly so great. I love it. And then it's just like you get to share other cultures with other people, and it's just so great. And then I am also in Afro-AM Society, and I've been able to do fashion shows through that too. So both Motherland and Afro-AM, I've been able to do fashion shows, and that's how I've been able to put myself out there, honestly. And I feel like I gained my confidence through that. And then besides all those organizations, I feel like I probably have done other stuff too, but yeah, just being able to get involved in a lot of stuff on campus has been honestly so great. I've definitely found my people. I actually try to come back. So as I was a transition mentee, I guess, and now this year I was a dream coach, so a mentor for the incoming freshmen. And honestly, it was just so great being able to kind of go through the transitions and help the students as well. So you get that chance to like, okay, like you came freshman year, your next year, maybe you could try being a dream coach or like a mentor for Horizons. It's just such a great program where you get to meet like so many POC on campus. And yeah, like just try your best to like get involved on campus, because that's how, again, like how you find your people. And just the college experience itself, like, like it's just a great thing to do. So definitely use your resources as much as you can.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rosaline. And last, but once again, certainly not least, my friend John, floor is all yours.
Perfect. Thank you. Like I said, I'm an econ and finance major here at PC. And I think most importantly, as everyone else has said, horizons and transitions have been immensely beneficial, especially getting to know a lot of the upperclassmen. They were in our shoes at one point, and this year especially, I benefited a lot from hearing a lot of the resources they got to use and then providing it to the freshmen so that they're aware of what this campus offers, which is a lot. Especially in the business school, Rosalind and I actually pertain to Berkeley Scholars, which I found out during Horizons from my mentor, and it's an initiative in the business school to help students of color really get their name out there in the business world, get to know a lot of professionals in the industry, and thankfully we've had a lot of experiences where we've been granted opportunities to get off campus and really explore a lot of the opportunities in our professions, which has been nice. And similarly, I think your experience on our campus is what you make of it. And that's something I'm going to preface a lot. I like to be super involved, and Horizons and Transitions were very good starting points for me because I got to know upperclassmen who introduced me to other people. But most importantly, like I said, if you have an interest, go after it. I know the involvement fair was a huge thing for me. I'd walked around for a few hours, seeing what the school had offered, and my first time I joined a club sport, having no idea how to play the sport whatsoever. And now to this day, I'm still on it. Our school offers a club ultimate frisbee team, and I was on it. I'm on it now currently. We had a trip down, so it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, if you want something, go after it. Similarly, I think campus ministry has been a huge part in my life on this campus. It's one of the bigger organizations on our campus, and it's been immensely beneficial, super faith-based, and there's a lot of different umbrellas under that entire organization that can fit your niche if you want. For example, I know there's adult literacy. A huge one for me was helping a lot of the workers on our campus with ESL tutoring, and really, getting that sense of community from a lot of the older people, feeling like you're at home. And that's been something that's helped me a lot. And like I said, I think it's really allowing yourself to get to know people, to broaden your horizons, and don't be afraid of doing something as a result of maybe your background. I'll get after it. And I think a lot of the people on this panel especially have shown like what they're capable of. So hopefully in the coming years I'll be able to do the same and try and help as many of the freshmen as I can. Looking forward.
Thank you so much, John. And thank you all for sharing your journeys with our attendees today. I think, John, you hit it right on the nail. Your experience at Providence, and this goes for life, of course, but particularly for today, your experience at Providence is really what you make of it. So if there's something to take away from all these conversations, put yourself out there and you will find your community. That being said, we hope that these stories provide an idea of what to expect from Providence College, but we figured we should open the floor to questions to for some of our audience members. So if you would like to ask a question, feel free to raise your hand on the webinar, and I'll be able to give you the opportunity to ask any questions and actually like allow you to speak. So if any questions come up, once again, this is the moment. Feel free to raise your hand on the webinar and I'll let you ask it. All right, so we do have one question. Tristan, my friend. All right, so Tristan, you are allowed to speak now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello, I'm Tristan Kalu. I'm from Delaware, and I also go to PWI. I was wondering if any of you have ever faced discrimination at Providence, or like have been in a situation that made you feel uncomfortable, and how did you navigate that, or / like what resources did you use to get through that? Thank you.
Oh, I can answer that question.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So because I am in theater, and the theater department is pretty PWI, I've noticed that a lot of the times some students may say some things that just don't hit correctly, for lack of a better word. So like with those situations, of course, these are students, like they're not better than you in any way, so you can just confront them, and like usually they're apologetic because I guess they don't know, but they should know by now, so that's not a good excuse. But I think most of the discrimination that happens on PC campus is a lot more systematic and institutionalized, rather. So we just came from doing one of the plays, the play that goes wrong, and we have makeup and hair days for the shows, and I noticed that the costume and makeup people brought like bins of foundation and like makeup tools, but a lot of the makeup, actually all of the makeup, there was not a single brown foundation or a single brown like thing for students who have darker skin tones or deeper skin complexions. Like it was only white foundation. So I brought it up to the head of the department, and now, for future reference, even though I'm going abroad, so I won't be able to do the shows next semester, they're planning on like having more sorry, I got distracted with the message at the bottom. They're planning on like right now they're actually going to go buy foundation for people with darker skin tones. It's honestly just something that they, like I said, institutionalized. They don't think about it, like, because they barely see people of color, so they tend to be very ignorant to the things that concern other people. So they wouldn't have ever noticed had I not brought it up. So I guess advocate for yourself is one thing that I can suggest, like using your voice, because even though like they may not have done it before, like they listen to people of color when they bring up these issues because they don't want to get in trouble. So, yeah.
And I can share from as a staff member, I've definitely been in situations supporting students, kind of hear out experiences that they might have felt that could have been a moment of discrimination, either maybe from a peer or even a misunderstanding with a professor. And so note that our college has systems in place to make sure that students can report those incidents should they, hopefully not, but if they happen. And I've definitely been there to support students through that process. That could be gender-based, race-based, ability-based. And so we have systems in place to make sure that those are, understood, and if found to have a basis for, conduct to be involved. I also served in advising students through that process, but also in hearing out those incidents that have happened, unfortunately, right? That happen across all campuses. That we are part of making sure that we educate peers, faculty, staff to be able to better support students, no matter their identities, and to celebrate them and acknowledge, right, that those are part of their experiences coming into PC that add to the beauty and brightness of what PC should be about, right?
Awesome. Tristan, thank you so much for that excellent question. And Mariam and Emily, thank you so much for chiming in on your experiences and your knowledge. So anyone else have any questions? Feel free to raise your hand. So I do have some questions, but if anyone has some questions while I am asking the ones I have, feel free to raise your hand and I'll allow you to, talk in the webinar and share your questions. So yeah, anyone can answer this, but I'm curious how did you find your transition to how did you find the transition to Providence College? Oh no, there you are. There you are. Go for it.
Yeah, in terms of like the transition, obviously it was a hard transition. Again, like going back to what I had said earlier, I come from like a diverse school, like my high school at least, and like middle school, even elementary school, it has been always like diverse. So coming into PC definitely was a big transition for me. And I honestly try to make the best out of it. Like I always think like although it is very difficult being the only one in the room in terms of like classrooms, I always tend to think like when you go into the corporate world, when you go to have your job, like essentially, although like obviously there's gonna be diversity, there are some places not as diverse. So you have to think of it that way. You're essentially putting yourself in a situation that will help you along the way later in life. So I always think of it that way. And honestly, like although it was a very hard transition at first, like I see myself being more and more comfortable within the classrooms and like talking to my peers. I know at least a lot like within the business school, like you're essentially doing a lot of group work with people, and it just helps you like just develop those skills, and you're like again like getting used to like what will life could look like after college, because especially like the corporate world, at least like in the business world, it could not be as diverse as it was like in high school and elementary school. So definitely a hard transition. However, again, like going back to the points what I said earlier, like I did a lot of the things that where I found my community and it helped me out. However, I always try to see of it in a positive way. Like, being the only one in the room might be difficult at times. However, I could benefit from this, for the long run. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your insight. If any of our other panelists would like to share their transition to PC, feel free to do so as well. Otherwise, we can move on to the next question. Cool. Okay, Tristan, my friend, let us allow you to speak once again. So there you go.
Yeah, hi again. I was wondering how the any of you, like, if you could speak on your experience with like like ASU or like African Student Union or things like that, like affinity groups, and how those like brought you together, and yeah.
Anyone can chime in.
So I am currently I would say an active member of the Afro AM Club. Like they have some events that they like to host. It's really easy to join, honestly. So like we were saying earlier, there's an involvement fair that happens. I think it's one of the last days of orientation. It happens, and you kind of go and you see all the different clubs that they have available to you. And so I signed up there, and you kind of just put your name down, your email, your phone number, and then they contact you through that way. And even if it's like something that you're kind of interested in, or feel like you're fully interested in, you don't always have to go to all the events, but it's cool to kind of be on their email list to know what's always happening. And like Rosalind said, she's a part of Afro Am, and she got to be a part of the fashion show, and she did a great job, guys. She was really great up there. But yeah, it's honestly, it's really cool, the things that students are able to do once they like come together. So I think if that's something that you're interested in, you should definitely try. So there's Afro AM, there's I think it's ACA, the Afro-Caribbean Student Association. There's OLAS. We're also working right now, currently in the works of Cape Verdean Student Association. So yeah, we have a lot of different clubs on campus that you can definitely join.
Tristan, I hope that answers your question. Feel free to raise your hand as many times as you'd like. But I actually have a question for you, Amara. So you've been talking about all these fun clubs and affinity groups you're a part of. But a little birdie mentioned that you're also part of the gospel choir. And I'm just wondering if you'd like to, share a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I'm a part of the Footprints Gospel Choir, which I also signed up for at the involvement fair. And they're kind of a smaller club. Faith is definitely something that is a little touchy at PC. You don't have to always be a part of it, but I as somebody who comes from a Catholic background, I definitely wanted to still dabble in my faith, but also in a way that I felt like I could connect best. And for me, that was singing, which is why I joined Footprints Gospel Choir. And I really love it. It's a great environment. Everybody is so welcoming. And, anytime I feel stress or whatever, when I go and I'm just singing and I'm letting myself loose and being a part of that, it honestly just really feels good. And to do it with people who have the same beliefs and come from like similar backgrounds is honestly awesome. And so I am a part of Footprints Gospel Choir, but I'm also a part of PC's a cappella group. And like they were mentioning earlier, it definitely is a little bit hard to be the only student of color in a club that is predominantly white. But like Mariama was saying, they're super, super, super accepting. All you have to do is put yourself out there. And John said, I'm going to keep plugging you guys, but it's really what you make it. Your experience here is really what you make it. And as long as you put yourself out there and you show you have interests, people with the same interests as you are going to find that connection, and you're going to love it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. So I also have another question. Again, anyone can chime in. This one's a little bit more fun, if you will. But also a very important question, my friends. So considering the fact that if any of these students enroll in Providence College, they're going to be living in the city of Providence for about 4 years, what are some of the best restaurant recommendations that you can have for some of our attendees tonight?
All right, so I'm gonna promote where I work at because I work at a restaurant and it's really good. If you like Mexican food, go to Casa Azul Taqueria. It is on Allen's Avenue, right next to the JWU campus, not next to our campus, but it's not that far. It's like 10 minutes away from here. So if you love Mexican food, we have authentic food. It's really great. Besides where I work at, we have Thayer Street. If you do not know about Thayer Street, and that's where a lot of us tend to go to. Honestly, it's not that far from PC. There's a lot of restaurants over there. There is, oh my God, I can't even think of them. There's Caliente, which is another Mexican restaurant. There's Shake Shack. There is Chipotle. There is Yas Chicken. There's a lot. I can't think of them right now, but there's a lot of places over there. If you guys would like to stop by, it's definitely not that far from PC. But if anybody else wants to say another place, but yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say so definitely Thayer Street, because my friends and I are always going there. But if you're looking for something like a little bit nicer, maybe for a birthday, some type of celebration, Federal Hill is also a really good option. They have a lot of different restaurants that range from like hibachi to Italian. They have breakfast spots. So definitely check out Federal Hill too.
I will also chime in by adding that Providence has this really, because Providence is like a college town, they have this really cool thing with a lot of the pizzerias around where a lot of them deliver till 4 a.m. So if you're doing a late night study session and you really need some grub to refuel and keep going studying for finals, a lot of local pizzerias will actually deliver till pretty late at night. So that is something to also keep in mind. So yeah, thank you both for your recommendations. My personal recommendation is Los Andes, which is a Peruvian restaurant, I believe in Chalkstone Avenue. Fantastic food. One of the first places I actually tried when I moved into Providence. And I cannot wait to go back. It's a little bit on the nicer end of things. So that's more so like Amara mentioned, if it's like a birthday, you're trying to go somewhere nice, that's a really good place to go. So one more question. So I am curious to hear from any of you, and Amara, you did touch on this a little bit with the gospel choir, but I'm curious to hear from you guys. Has the Dominican and Catholic identity served your education at Providence College? And if so, how?
All right. So when we talk about like the religious aspect of Providence College, I don't know if you guys know, but we do have the Western Civilization program at PC. We also have our core requirements, which is philosophy, theology, and ethics. So we tend to go more into like that religious aspect. And I would say like in terms, like I am Catholic, so coming from a Catholic background, some of the stuff like I already come with knowing some of the stuff. However, like I would say that not only like being able to learn and have that with me during my college experience, it has helped me a lot in terms of like critical thinking, my writing skills, and my communication skills. And I would say that because just like Western Civilization, you have 2 years of it, so 4 semesters, and you have something called seminar. And seminar, you're sitting in a classroom and you're like essentially with a group of people. You have like the lecture with, which is the big group, and then the seminar, which is a smaller group, and you tend to talk with each other about like what you have read. So we definitely have to use like those critical thinking skills and those communication skills. And although like sometimes like let's say like somebody's not as religious and it's like this is new to them, it's honestly such a great opportunity in the sense that you're gaining so many skills that are just transferable for like your job. And this could be any job, honestly. Again, like when you think about critical thinking skills, like when you have to make decisions, like it's really important, and communication skills as well. If like you have to talk to your managers, your coworkers. So I would say like the religious aspect is obviously a plus for me because I come from a religious background. However, if you're not as religious, it's such a great thing just to gain those skills that you need. And you have like those requirements throughout your semesters. So yeah, that would be at least from my experience.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I actually have a question in the chat that I would like to address for our attendee. But Mariama, before I address that question, I'm going to allow you to, you did raise your hand, so go right ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna add on to what Rosalind said about like civ and like philosophy and theology classes that we take. These classes are, although, you know, of course you'll come across like some classes that aren't the most fun in the world, but I feel like these classes really allow students to think and, you know, regardless of like your religious affiliation, I feel like these classes still allow conversation to fester regardless of like your perspective, as long as you're giving like your 100% to these classes and you're, you know, whatever you like believe in, you're staying true to that at the same time, and you're just having good conversation, you're gonna have a good time in these classes. I genuinely believe so.
Thank you so much, Mariama. So we do have a question in the chat. So it goes along the same vein of the conversation we're just having. Is religion really present in Providence? Because I know it's a Catholic university, but what if I don't follow that religion? So before I allow you all to go right ahead and chime in, I personally want to preface by saying that the way we like to describe it at Providence, that religion is not an obligation of Providence, it is an opportunity. That being said, it is a Catholic institution. So definitely religion is very much present in the institution, but it's not required from our students. Yes, courses like Development of Western Civilization will have theology as part of the curriculum. As you can imagine, so development of Western Civ, as the name of the class goes, was very much influenced by religion, and so it is more of an academic study of theology and less so like a worshiping sense. So if you're of the Catholic faith, you're going to have a lot of opportunities, as you can imagine, at Providence to worship and pursue your faith. If you are not Catholic, nothing is required from you in terms of religion, with the exception that the core curriculum does include 2 theology courses that students have to take. These can be any theology courses. They don't have to be specific Catholic courses, for example. So those are things to keep in mind. Other aspects of religious worship are not required. The only requirement at Providence that relates to religion is that part of the core curriculum includes that students have to take 2 theology courses in their time at PC. But you guys are the students. Feel free to share your perspectives as well.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in on this one because even though the classes are theology, there are many, I guess the core is diverse enough where there are many classes that they don't try to push the Catholic or Christian faith on you, but what they do is bring it to another like field of study. So I remember registration was recent, and while looking for classes, I happened to see this class, which was about how religion and science like intertwine and how one doesn't technically like put the other down. So there are classes like that where it's not all about like the Catholic faith, where it's more about the intersection between many other disciplines with the Catholic faith.
Michael, thank you so much. And to our anonymous attendee, I hope this answered your question, but please feel free to type in the chat if you have any follow-up questions regarding this or anything else. So we do have a few minutes left. So I am going to give our attendees an opportunity to ask one final question before we start wrapping up. So just gonna give it a few seconds to see if anyone will raise their hand. And we have my friend Kemi, who I spoke with the other day. So Kemi, go right ahead whenever you are ready.
Okay, hi. Can you hear me?
Indeed, we can.
Okay, so my question, first of all, is that knowing fully well that PC is a Catholic school, is there any requirement for like dress code, like how students are expected to dress, or yeah, because I'm really worried about that.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. So yeah, there's no like specific requirements for dress codes. Obviously, we can't have students like walking around in like underwear, obviously, but you're not required to wear a particular garment or anything like that. That would be an infringement on people's rights, which we don't do here.
Okay. The second question is okay, so I'm the kind of person that love like to be engaged in a lot of activities. So how does PC help students to like stay like academically how do I put it? I forgot the word I'm looking for, but like how does PC encourage students to be academically successful as well as they're trying to get into the extracurricular activities and not like like fail in their academic aspect?
So I can chime in, but anyone else can feel free to. Actually, I'm gonna let our students speak first. So Amara, you have the floor.
Yeah, so PC has a lot of resources like the Writing Center and the Tutoring Center, which is available to all students free of charge, including tuition. But all you would really have to do is just sign up online. There's just like a simple little website that you would go on and you would say which specific class or that you're struggling with for the Tutoring Center. And then for the Writing Center, you would just say which class you need to write a paper for. And they're super helpful over there. I can say I've used that resource many times, and I'm a part of a lot of clubs. So definitely using that resource has helped me be super like involved with school, but also, pertaining to like my academics and knowing what has to come first.
Thank you, Amara. John?
Yeah, something else I'd also like to preface with is the importance of going to your teachers when you need help. Things of the nature such as office hours are huge. A lot of the professors on our campus are super understanding of the situation we're in, you know, especially as freshmen. It's really our first time coming around, being expected and being told, hey, you have to take 4 to 5 classes and really like maintain everything well. A lot of them are super understanding. Extensions can be huge. So it's really getting to know and establish a lot of those relationships early on with your professors. That's going to help you academically do well. And especially towards the end of the semester when things are starting to pile up, a lot of them are, like I said, super understanding, willing to help. And it's just super important to create and establish that relationship that can hopefully go on after even the class is over, because they'll always be a helping hand and they're a big resource to help you with other classes that you may have to take.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. Yeah, so Kemi, I hope that answered your question, but please feel free to chime in if you have anything else you'd like to ask. And that goes to all of our attendees. So if you have any final questions, now is the time. We are nearing the end of our time today. So one final opportunity to ask any questions.
I'm gonna Alex, that some of the resources that Amara mentioned are housed under our Student Success Center, which is in our library. So you can study and get support at the same time. Apart from tutoring, there's also academic skills specialists. So these are staff that are there to host workshops, but also meet with you one-on-one to help you manage your time, learn how to study better if you need support with specific classes like Civ especially, which is one of our course requirements. And have those conversations like, I need help dropping a class or I need help dropping an activity, right? Because I feel like many of us could relate to having those experiences of maybe needing to take a step back because you're so excited to be involved, but you also need to balance your time, make sure you eat, you sleep, you hang out, right? Those are also important to your college experience. So all of that is in one place, which is really great on campus to be able to tap into.
There we go. Thank you so much, Emily. So yeah, with that being said, thanks to everyone, both attendees and panelists, for being here tonight. We hope that the information and stories shared tonight alleviate any questions or concerns you might have had about PC's multicultural experience or anything else, and that it helps determine if PC is the right place for you. Huge thanks to every single one of our panelists for taking the time to share with you all their experience and the work they do. If you have any questions after we wrap up tonight, please contact the Office of Admission at 401-865-2535 or get in touch with your admission counselor. Or feel free to also email us at pcadmiss@providence.edu. And if you're ready to join the Friar family and want to submit your deposit, you may do so through your admitted student portal. Thank you all once again and have a great rest of your night. And I believe that is all the panelists. All right, so guys, thank you so much. I think this went really well. You are all amazing. Your insights is probably invaluable to this process. I learned a lot. I'm sure the students learned a lot, and I'm glad that they, at least in some parts, they were not afraid to ask those important questions that I really wanted to get at. So thank you all for handling everything with grace. Thank you all for being here tonight. And I hope that Let's Talk About It can become sort of a series of events that we can do in the future, because I think it's important to have these conversations beforehand, just to, be able to give these students of color or diverse backgrounds this information, and so that they know that we are acknowledging our position as a PWI, and more importantly, that we are doing what we can to address it and help them through the process. With that being said, I'm going to leave you all here. If you like a copy of, for me to send you the link of the webinar, just for your purposes, feel free to shoot me an email. I more than happily share the link with you. With that being said, thank you all. Have a great night. And also, if you ever need a resource on campus, Spanish-speaking resource, or just a general staff member for anything, feel free to shoot me an email, give me a call. I'm always willing to help out. That being said, thank you all again, and have a great night.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Good
Bye.
Bye.
night.